Before we dive into today's breakdown, I want you to drop in the comments the name of a random Dallas Cowboys player. Doesn't need to be a legend, doesn't even need to be good. Just someone who wore the star, even if it was just for a season. Could be someone you remember fondly or a name that randomly popped into your head. Alright, now that you've done that, let's get into today's deep dive into the Cowboys' current situation, because there's a lot going on behind the scenes. That needs unpacking, especially when it comes to the safety room and the offensive line. Let's start off with Donovan Wilson. His name started buzzing again recently because a post from a Cowboys blog suggested he could be a cut candidate. The claim was that the team could save over $8.5 million by cutting him after June 1st. Sounds like a big deal, right? But here's the problem. That number isn't accurate. What we're actually looking at is this. Donovan Wilson's cap hit for the 2025 season is $8.65 million, yes? But if the Cowboys cut him right now, they save just over $5 million. If they wait until after June 1st, they could save around $7 million. So already the logic that he should be cut to save over $8 million, that's off base. And here's the key part. If the Cowboys really wanted to cut Donovan Wilson and save money in that way, they didn't have to wait until now. They could have done it months ago and designated it as a post-June 1st cut. That option was on the table. They didn't do it. Instead, they brought back guys like Marquise Bell and Wanya Thomas. Both were restricted or exclusive, rights-free. Agents, meaning it didn't take a big commitment to retain them. And sure, they extended Bell, which shows some investment there, but they didn't go out and bring in a proven veteran or spend a premium draft pick on a safety. That tells you something. Now, there are folks out there saying, well, maybe Izzy Mukuamu or Thomas or Bell will step up and make Wilson expendable. Look, I like Bell and Thomas as much as anyone, but they're still developing. Izzy, for example, seems more suited to the nickel spot and isn't even guaranteed a roster spot at this point. There's a lot of optimism about Bell and Thomas, but not enough evidence yet to say, yeah, they're ready to take over as starters, and we don't need Donovan Wilson anymore. What gets overlooked in this whole debate is that the Cowboys' safety room is built on depth, but not necessarily experience or proven production beyond the top guys. Wilson, despite a dip in his performance last season, is still a physical presence on the back end. You don't just throw that away unless you're confident someone else can step in and not just hold the line, but elevate the unit. So for me, the percentage chance that Wilson is still on the Cowboys roster in 2025 is pretty high. Like, very high. I didn't even list him in my surprise cut candidates this offseason. There was a time before free agency, before roster moves, when maybe he was a guy you looked at and said, yeah, he could be cut if things shake out a certain way. But now, that time has passed. The Cowboys have made their decisions, and those decisions didn't include moving on from Donovan Wilson. They've kept him around, and they didn't go out and replace him. That speaks volumes. Let's pivot to the offensive line now, because that's another area where there's been a lot of chatter. Some of it realistic, some of it a bit out there. Specifically, we've got to talk about Awesome Richards, Tyler, Guidon, and of course, Terrence Steele. These three names keep coming up in various scenarios about who's starting, who's backing up, and who might even be on the way out. The Cowboys' official website talked about whether Richards could beat out Guyton at left tackle, while another outlet tossed out the idea that Terrence Steele could be cut, clearing the way for Richards at right tackle. Let's slow down for a second and unpack all of that. First off, Tyler Guidon is the clear favorite to start at left tackle. That's the role the Cowboys want him to fill, and he's got the tools to do it. But let's not sugarcoat it. His rookie season didn't meet expectations. The penalties were too frequent. The consistency wasn't there. And he struggled in ways that made it clear he was still a developmental project. That's fine for a rookie, especially one playing a premium position like left tackle. But you need to see growth. He can't come into year 2 looking like the same player or worse. That's where confidence in the coaching staff and the new offensive line philosophy is going to matter. There's been talk that the previous coaching regime didn't trust. Guyton didn't develop him properly, and maybe even set him up to fail in certain situations. This year, there's a clean slate, but the pressure is on. Now, when it comes to Awesome Richards, I like him as a top backup. He's got versatility, and he's flashed some ability, but starting him right now, that might be a little premature. He played a limited number of snaps last season, less than 200, and while his pressure rate allowed was similar to Guyton's, he benefited from not being in as many high-pressure situations. Fewer penalties? Sure, but he also didn't grade out well as a run blocker. And here's the real kicker. He hasn't played much, if any, right tackle at the professional level. In fact, the last time he got meaningful reps at right tackle was way back in college, and even then it was just a handful of snaps. The majority of his career has been at left tackle. So when people start pitching him as a Terrence Steele replacement at right tackle, I have to pause and ask, based on what? Unless something changes drastically in training camp, Richards is probably not your answer at right tackle. If anything, he's the backup plan for Guyton, which honestly would be a bit disappointing because that would mean Guyton hasn't taken the leap he needs to. The idea of Richards being your swing tackle is fine, but acting like he's a plug-and-play starter on either side of the line, that's a stretch right now. We haven't seen it. That brings us to Terrence Steele. And yes, technically the Cowboys could cut him after June 1st and save $14 million. That's a big number. But don't get it twisted. Just because they can doesn't mean they will. In fact, all indications are that they believe in Steele, maybe more than the fans do. The new coaching staff, particularly on the offensive line, seems excited to work with him. They believe that a change in scheme, some tweaks to the technique, and a reset after a rough stretch could get him back to the player he was in 2022. Let's not forget, in 2022, Steele was a really solid run blocker and a pass blocker who could hold his own. In the past couple of seasons, especially 2023, he regressed. There's no doubt about that. He was getting beat far too often by elite pass rushers and even some average ones, but there were factors at play. Health, scheme, confidence, it all matters. This year is do or die. If he doesn't bounce back, then yeah, maybe next offseason you're looking for a new right tackle. Maybe that guy is already on the roster. Maybe it's someone in next year's draft. But right now, Terrence Steele is your guy. This isn't about being overly optimistic or blindly supporting every move the Cowboys make. It's about looking at the reality of the roster. The team believes in Steele enough not to replace him. They believe in Guyton enough to give him the starting nod at left tackle. And they see Richards as a depth piece with upside. That's where things stand. So what's next? Well, we've got more to get into, including how the rest of the offensive line is shaping up and which positions are still up for grabs as we head into training camp. But the key takeaway from all of this is that while some fans might be ready to hit the panic button or blow things up, the Cowboys are showing patience. They're betting on development. They're betting on their coaching staff to unlock something in these players. And most importantly, they're betting that the guys they've already invested in can be better in year 2 or bounce back to form after a down year. Continuing from where we left off, one of the underlying themes in all these decisions is that the Cowboys are betting on continuity and internal growth rather than drastic overhaul. That's been their blueprint for a while now. But this year, it feels even more critical, especially along the offensive line. With Tyron Smith gone and Zach Martin aging, the franchise has officially entered a transition phase. They're building the next era of the line, and there's no hiding from that reality. That's why Tyler Guyton has to hit. He doesn't have to be a Pro Bowler in year 2, but he has to look like a long-term starter. He has to show the footwork, the strength, the awareness, everything you expect from a left tackle protecting the quarterback's blind side. And sure, there will be growing pains, but you can't have the same mistakes week after week. The flashes need to become the norm, not the exception. The Cowboys can't afford to be halfway through the season wondering if Guyton's the answer or not. They need to know. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the whole news in the comments as well. Whispers are stirring in Dallas as a possible locker room rivalry is catching the attention of NFL insiders. Rumors suggest that the Dallas Cowboys might be facing an internal battle for the title of WR1, pitting two of their brightest stars, CeeDee Lamb and Jahan Dotson Pickens, against each other in a silent competition. Although both players have demonstrated exceptional talent on the field, speculation is growing that their quest for the top wide receiver spot could be creating tension behind the scenes. CeeDee Lamb, the Cowboys' established go-to receiver, has been a fan favorite and a reliable target for quarterback Dak Prescott since he entered the league. Known for his route-running hands and ability to make clutch plays, Lamb has been seen as the undisputed WR1 in Dallas for the past few seasons. However, Pickens, a rising talent with a combination of size, speed, and impressive hands, has shown flashes of brilliance that have sparked discussions about whether he could soon challenge Lamb's dominance. Insiders hint at subtle clashes in the locker room, fueled by both players' hunger to establish themselves as the true number one wideout. Sources close to the team whisper about increased competitiveness during practice sessions and a growing eagerness in both to secure more targets in game plans. While no outright conflict has been confirmed, the intensity of their rivalry is said to be palpable and is quietly reshaping the team dynamics. Analysts suggest that the Cowboys coaching staff could be navigating a delicate balancing act. On one hand, they want to nurture Pickens' potential and keep Lamb motivated, while on the other, they must avoid a scenario where competition turns into division. Some speculate that this internal contest might even benefit the team, pushing both receivers to elevate their performances and forcing defenses to prepare for a multifaceted offensive threat. Meanwhile, fans and media outlets have started debating who should rightfully claim the WR1 status. Lamb's proven track record makes a strong case, but Pickens' explosive plays and upward trajectory cannot be ignored. The Cowboys' offense could become one of the most exciting to watch if both players continue to develop and share the spotlight. Whether this rumored rivalry will lead to conflict or simply fuel a productive competition remains to be seen. For now, all eyes are on Dallas as the Cowboys prepare for the upcoming season. The possibility of a fierce battle for WR1 between Lamb and Pickens adds an intriguing subplot to what is already shaping up to be a thrilling NFL campaign. Fans should stay tuned. This story is far from over. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.